All right, welcome back everyone to Get the Net. Special show tonight. We got a co-host. Have Dom from Lake of the Woods Sports Headquarters. He's just traveling through with a load full of hunting and fishing equipment. He stopped in for a quick spaghetti squash and a lukewarm beer.
Oh, not bad. Not bad at all. Good dinner.
Yeah, so we've had a bunch of different kinds of guests on before, and Dom's a unique one. So we're going to get into that. We got plenty to talk about. We got Winnipeg Ice Fishing Show coming up. We'll talk about that sucker. We just finished up the grouse hunting and walleye tournament. Lots to touch on there. What else we got, bud?
I don't really know. We can talk about like derbies and whatnot and what you guys, I don't know. I got some like ideas on holy fuck, this is hard. That Lux talking into the microphone. Like, I don't know what.
Well, you're not even talking into the microphone.
Yeah, true. Like, I might be the worst guest you've ever had on. I'm just like not certified.
Just talking's pretty easy, man. You'll get used to it.
Yeah.
The best part to remember is if this sucks, I'm just not going to air it.
Yeah, just a leader. I'm just like, you got like Alex Kessler on here and like Joe Cooper, like super qualified guys that like, just like a bit of an oddball guess, but.
Yeah, well, everyone that gets the shout out has their own thing to bring.
Unique quirks.
If you were just a run-of-the-mill tackle store manager, I would just not feed you spaghetti squash and just let you keep rolling.
Fair
enough. Yeah, Joe Cooper, that game of inches is happening soon. We got to talk about that a little bit. Yeah, going to talk about some Bassmaster stuff, a little BPT. We're going to touch on a little bit of everything, so stick around. Beauty hope. See you on the other side of this intro. Welcome to Get the Net, a fishing podcast that takes a deep dive into competitive events, fishing news, tips, tactics, and most importantly, interviews with some of the most interesting and in-tune anglers from Canada to the central U.S. We're leaving no stone unturned to bring you the most raw and authentic dock talk. My name is Jamie Bruce. While my resume says bass, my frying pan says walleye, I'm no stranger to the multi-species realm. Whether you're puttering on tackle, driving the bus, cutting the grass, or killing time in a 9 to 5, we'll try to give you something in every episode to take with you on the water, or at the very least, bring you a few laughs. All right, we're November 1st, bud.
Yeah, I just finished the cast and blast.
Yeah.
Deer hunting's around the corner.
Yeah. Good. Well, I mean, the season's here. But yeah, Dom alluded to it, the cast and blast, the surf and turf. The grouse hunt walleye tournament made its return to the mainstream this year.
Yeah.
Unique deal. Gonna have a video coming out on it. There's one on Sports Headquarters YouTube. They shot a couple chickens pretty low. They were playing for keeps, but check that one out. So yeah, how it lays out is it's 3 grouse and 2 walleye under 18 inches, essentially, are the rules. You can weigh in 5 grouse, but you're not going to win anything with that, as Dom found out. So, yeah, you can go wherever you want, leave whenever you want in the morning, and pretty much go, well, not pretty much, you can go wherever the hell you want, as long as you're in by 5, and you got some critters for the weigh-in and the fry, but it gets pretty competitive. It gets pretty intense. It makes chicken hunting a lot more intense than it probably usually is. So
yeah, for sure, it takes it to the next level.
How was your first experience?
It was like so sick. It was like, in my ideas, the perfect like tournament format, because like, well, a guy could get so spun out doing it, like jumping from land to water, to be like, oh, I got to go back and try for walleyes for a bit. And like, when you're just fishing a bass derby, you could just, you're always fishing, even if you're spun out, like running from spot to spot, but just with the land and water both in play. It's just like, yeah, it was like so fun. And then, like, I don't know, something about a chicken derby. Like, when I had this one spot, I shot like a triple in. Like, I had a single shot it, and Brett, my buddy who has fishing
during the derby,
yeah,
nice.
He like, I was like, cam me your gun, because he didn't have an angle. Shot a triple, And I was just like as fired up as I've ever been in any tournament.
Yeah, fist bumping.
Oh yeah, like ready to run through trees, like rip my shirt off, just like max fired up.
Jesus, buddy, you on the test or what?
Yeah, pretty much how it was going. Like, I don't know, you're just so excited, especially because we didn't have like walleyes or we had one walleye. Like the morning was like so shit, and then you just like from like nothing, like not seeing, quick triple, and you're like, oh, I guess you're not really back in it with chickens, but it felt like we were back in it.
You need three. You need three to play.
Yeah, so it felt like we were back in it. It was so fun.
Yeah. Yeah, we ended up having a good tournament. But damn, man, I talked to you the night before, and you were like, you're lipping off a little, and you're not a cocky guy, so I was like, shit, Dom's got him. Like, you know, the boys have him licked up in soon arrows, and then I talked to a couple other buddies, and there's some pretty extravagant plans. Like Gussie hauled his boat like 100K north.
That's doing it.
Maybe not 100K. I don't know. Maybe it's 7. I don't really know where it is, but yeah. So I was like, I got to step up my game. So I told Ashley, I was like, hey, we're gonna sneak out in the dark a little bit in the morning. She's like, okay, whatever. Like before bed. So I got up at 4:30, and was like, okay, time to go. She got her like finally rolling at 5:30. She was so pissed, and we went and splashed my boat on the Winnipeg River. And I was like, I got a spot I fished a couple years ago. Yeah, we didn't catch shit. She lost one. I caught like a 13-incher, and we put it back on the trailer at dark still.
Oh, shit.
2 hours in the pitch black to start the derby.
Yeah. I didn't realize how hard guys went. Like, I thought some guys were just, like, very casual, but, like, some guys were committed to whatever program they were running.
Yeah. I didn't realize how hard I could go in that.
Yeah.
I was like, what am I doing? It's my tournament.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that you, like, did it. I thought maybe you just chilled here till everyone got back, but then you...
No, I try to win.
Yeah.
Yeah, I come back early to accept, you know, in case someone shows up early, and I usually have to cut potatoes for the fry, and, like, there's a lot of, you know, prep that goes into that, so I come back early, but, yeah, man, I go hard as ever. Like, Ashley's been shooting tough this year, like... Yeah. She's been missing lots with her 20 gauge, so like she rode the bench for the first few chickens. Like,
oh, you're just like all me.
Yeah. Well, first place is $1,000, so we're playing for keeps.
That's solid.
Yeah. So you got those 3, and then what did it look like?
Just kept chicken hunting, but we met up with Nev and Josh, and then I was like, oh, do we like run back and like get walleyes? And especially because we had like an hour drive to be here by like 5. So I was like. Or we ended up getting a couple more chickens, and like they were like everywhere. Like where we were hunting was like polluted with chickens. Like Josh and Nev were so like down in the morning because they didn't have a single walleye. Like they had seemed like they had given up, but then we went like into the area we went, and they had like 5 chickens like right away.
Yeah.
And they like just went down a different trail, and we'll just like take this Y and like work our way back, and you guys just hit all these trails, and we'll hit these trails, and it was just like. I mean, the chicken hunting seemed like it was pretty good for everyone. Yeah,
there was no shortage of meat.
No.
They ended up beating your ass, too.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know how, because we were like, I don't know.
Well, they had bigger chickens than, like, you had a nice walleye, but it wasn't like a hero.
No.
Yeah, so to put it in perspective, if you've ever fished a walleye tournament where you have to have walleye under 18 inches, which is like all walleye tournaments in Ontario, if you get one under 18 inches that's 2 pounds, that'll be like the biggest fish in the tournament. The biggest under, like in a summer walleye tournament. Sure. In this one, out of 20 teams or just under, there were like 10 walleye over 2 pounds. We had a 230, like as big as they get, and apparently not because there were 2 256s.
Yeah, like when we were pre-fishing it, we caught one that was like 17 3/4, and I like weighed it, and I was like, oh, if we get these, like money, but it was like a 180. And guys were bringing in like ones that, like, I think Kelly's was way short, like way under.
It was like 17, under 17 and a half,
yeah,
and it weighed 256.
Insane.
And big chickens. There's a big difference in what grouse weigh.
Yeah.
Like some of them weigh 1.13 and some of them weigh 1.67.
Yeah.
Everyone just thinks they're the same. Like there's a huge disparity there.
Yeah, every time we shot one, I was like, "Oh, that's a long tail. That's a long tail."
Yeah.
You get like the ones with the little short fans, but yeah, when you get weighing them, they're like 130. You're like, "Ah, it's not as good as I thought."
Yeah. The biggest ones are the males, like when they're strutting.
Yeah,
Those are the kings of the castle.
Yeah.
And all the ones around them are always little short tails.
yeah,
But if you don't see those, I
Out
don't
of
know.
luck.
The chicken thing's hard. Like once I ruined our lives in the morning, we, turned it around quick, got our limit of chickens, got our 5 before we got to our fishing spot up north. We went fishing offshore and, caught some walleyes in pretty short order. Like Ashley had a hot hand, caught some beauties. We had a 229 and like a 2.15, like beauties.
Mm-hmm.
So we turned around and shot. We had 3 more chickens to go to both of our limits to 10. And then we just had to drive by them for, a while. And some of them were bigger. And there's nothing you can do. So, it's like you got to ease off the trigger and selective harvest, all day, just knowing that you're going to get your chances.
Yeah. I feel like guys had the perception, too, that they had it, kind of sewed up. Like, Lukey was, thought he had, super good ones. And even Jeff, I think, it got weighed in early, or the big bag got weighed in early, but I think Jeff probably driving back thought he had them because he had super nice bag too. And when I texted you the night before, I was you were 8 to 8.5 pounds, and I was I got 7 something, might be middle of the pack, but
Yeah.
guys had them this year.
It was a whack fest. We lost by 0.19, which is a pretty big margin for third. Second had 903, and first Kelly and Noah had, or second had 901, Kelly and Noah had 903. It's always close like that.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, I think there were a lot of people that thought they were good.
Yeah, had done something.
Yeah. So, oh man, dude, I was on the couch at 1 o'clock because we had 2 perfect walleyes.
Yeah.
And we had 10 chickens. There's nothing else I could do. I had the potatoes cut. I had, everything was ready to rock for the party, and just pretty much was just waiting to win. I almost felt bad. I was like, shit, I'm going to win my own tournament.
Yeah.
No, third.
And then the after party was sweet too. Just kind of everyone jumped in to help out, cleaning that many animals.
It's so much work.
Yeah, that fast. But everyone, I don't know who, I didn't know the guy that was running the boiler, but he just went at it for 2.5 hours.
That's
straight.
Tunes. Yeah, he does that every year.
Yeah.
I mean, it's I can't do it all. Just a little quality control here and there. But yeah, Tunes, he steps in. He brought BYOF, bring your own fryer.
Yeah.
Big tandem burner. I texted him the night before. I was like, bud, they're biting out there.
Yeah.
Don't wear your nice boots.
Yeah.
You're going to be frying, partner.
And then it was his wife with him, I guess, I assume, and she was
his
just
girlfriend.
Feeding him stuff, and it was just a well-run operation. But you would have swore they were cooking for a wedding of 100 people. They were just didn't stop on the fryer for 2.5 hours, and then we had to restart again that night. We got a few more battered up.
Oh man, there's nothing tastes as good as a rough grouse cut thin, rolled in Smith camps, and dropped in the hot oil bath.
Yeah, so good. People had mountains of plates.
Yeah, Gussie will eat 5 to 7 birds.
Yeah.
That's his feed for the year.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's known for being the bird eater, so he always brings enough to make up for that. So yeah. No, thanks Tunes. Thanks Smith Camps, Critter Crumbs. Grab those at Lake of the Woods Sports. They're that's the best.
Yeah, super good.
Yeah. Well, Al hooked us up with a big bag. We rolled them, and I didn't hear any complaints.
No.
Oh, what else is happening, bud? Winnipeg Ice Fishing Show.
Yeah, exciting stuff.
Yeah.
We got a booth there, so it'll be good. Couple days of setup usually, and then I guess you got a couple talks there. Be interesting.
Yeah, I'm taking the big stage.
Oh.
Be I feel like a damn 13-year-old in 8th grade doing a PowerPoint.
Yeah, be interesting.
Mine is so bush league. There's there's not much graphics going on in the background. I'm more of a personality up front and learning on the stage instead of visual aids kind of guy.
Yeah, I remember I went to one of those when I was like 17 and Jay Samsel was giving the presentation.
Yeah.
And like it gets to the question period and some of the questions are just like outrageous. Like one guy was like, when those smallmouth get on their nests, they are just impossible to catch. And he was like, I haven't really found that to be true. But it was super funny. Like, I don't know. Fishing's a weird thing where like, you know, like everyone or a bunch of people do it, but like there's just such varying levels to it. Where like guys will have their trucks deckled out in G Loomis and whatever else, but like not know what an FG knot is or anything like that. You kind of see it across the board. So when you're giving these presentations, you have like no idea. People will be super passionate about fishing, but like when you spend time around guys like you, Jeff, or like Brian, you like see like all the levels to it, but like there's just, it's kind of like, I don't know, like if you like basketball, everybody knows who LeBron James or Kevin Durant is, but like guys will like bass fishing and have no idea who Jason Christie or like Kevin Van Dam is.
Yeah, they'll know who the Googans are, though.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like the weirdest thing ever. It's like taking advice from like, I don't know, like to me it makes sense to take advice from like, you know, the Connor McDavids or like the like super skilled people versus like a guy that would have been played on like an A3 hockey team but just has like a personality and willing to put a camera in front of themselves.
Right. Well, that's the whole YouTube versus pro angler.
Yeah,
like
and now you kind of have to have both, right? Like, I mean, if you want like, you got to be entertaining, but you got like it's kind of like a Conor McGregor thing where he was sparking guys, but entertaining as hell. Now you kind of got to juggle both hats.
Yeah, it's bullshit. You got to do way more work.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, we were talking about seminars.
Yeah.
You cut a little deep there.
A little off topic, but I don't know. Yeah, the seminars are just weird because you just never know what kind of questions you're gonna get asked. Like the crowds are just like so variable. It's just kind of like working in the Winnipeg store when guys are like, "Do you have any rod recommendations for a catfish, perch, walleye combo?"
Yeah, 7-1 medium.
Yeah, exactly. You just rip that one out every time. 852.
Try to get your lines up to where you can actually see them.
Sounds good.
It's your first time.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal. We're not the ones that have to listen to it.
No,
I'll listen to it once editing.
Yeah.
It's well, you'll probably listen to it.
Yeah, I'll give it a listen.
You gotta listen to your own.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Seminars, yeah, I'm sure there'll be some good questions. I'm actually looking forward to it. It seems to have grown quite a bit. I don't know. Like they said all the booths are sold out. There's I don't know, there's a bunch of hype around it. It's like it's turning into a thing. Like I used to go down, you know, on my own dime. Like my buddy Sean McGaughy and I used to go down to that St. Paul Ice Fishing Show all the time and like made a weekend of her.
Oh, that's cool.
So it seems like that's kind of happening here.
Yeah, it's like gaining tons of popularity. At least it seems like it is. Like, I don't know if they're doing a live screening of that game of inches there, but like those things like have like crazy viewings, like whatever the 49 hours or whatever it was. Like, I don't know. You look at the views and like a lot of people are into it, and like Josh always tells me, who is our media guy in Winnipeg, that like ice fishing is like the content to like where YouTube channels blow up, because I guess people have a lot of downtime in the winter, you know.
Yeah, downtime in the winter and way less people doing it.
So it's not as saturated.
Yeah, tons of my like followers or subscribers on YouTube started like when we started that, you know, that ice fishing like clack shot video kind of kicked it off, and then a bunch of videos in there, and that's where the bulk of mine came from. Like I get guys messaging me, they're like, I don't know what happened, like I started watching you to learn how to catch a walleye on Lake of the Woods, and now I'm watching damn spotted bass tournaments in Hartwell. So a bunch of them at least came for the ride. But yeah, I mean, ice fishing seems to be just exploding, especially in this area. Like, what better place than Winnipeg to have
like Canada's ice fishing show.
Yeah, for sure. I think the accessibility of ice fishing is like huge too. Like, you know, anyone could just walk out somewhere on some of these lakes, and all you need is to like have an auger and like a couple rods. It's just like more accessible than like, you know, trying to go do a musky fishing trip or something like that. Like where you kind of need to spend the money on the boat and all the gear and everything else. So
Yeah.
it's kind of cool that it's accessible to like everyone. Like I know people, like when people would buy their fishing licenses only to start the ice season in Winnipeg, like not open water fish, which is crazy.
Yeah. I mean, if all you've got is like a station wagon and whatever, like you're not going to Lake of the Woods for the weekend.
Yeah, exactly.
Like some of the hardcores will go fish offshore, but that's how a lot of people get started in fishing. And it's not a bad way to do it either. Like I used to ice fish like crazy. Like I'd make it a point to ice fish more than anyone.
Oh, really?
You know, would spend like a bunch of my life going to find new crappie spots and all this dumb stuff. And I was like, what a waste of time. But now I'm like so used to looking at, like me and Milliken talked about this on the last one. It was like, it's training on your electronics. Like not at the start, but you know, once you get a flasher and then you're live scoping, like you're getting better out there, whether you know it or not. Yeah,
that's actually a good point. Like you get way better, and you can translate that into the open water season if you want to. It's kind of cool.
Yeah. Now as I get older, I'm turning into like a Bubba.
Yeah.
Like I'm turning into a guy I used to make fun of.
Yeah, no doubt.
You know, I'm more looking at it like from a tactical lens, like what's the least amount of work I can do for the maximum results.
Yeah.
And like I've got that little wheelhouse, that little 6x12, like I can just whip that thing around and like set her up right on the primo, you know, use the live scope, find a little flat spot, use a lake master, get in, and like if I can drill 2 holes, that's like that's the game now.
Minimal effort, maximum comfort in that thing.
Yeah. I love it.
That's sweet.
Yeah, so that's how I like to ice fish now. But there's a bunch of hardcores, there's a bunch of up and comers. Apparently they're playing that game of inches. The guys that brought you 39 hours. Say what you will, that was freaking entertaining.
Yeah, it's super entertaining.
It's kind of like the surf and turf derby.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing, where you have just like this cool, unique style that like, you know, keeps a high pace, where you're just like, oh, what's happening next? And you're like jumping and bouncing around.
Yeah, and someone's getting tortured on the other end.
Yeah,
like, you know, they're going through the hardship, and I like that. So I guess it's a similar format. They're screening it at the ice fishing show, but I saw a thing today. Buddy sent me that Weeb's part, like Weeb's pulling out or something, or not doing his part, or didn't edit in time. There's a whole bunch of stuff there.
Yeah, I didn't really follow any of that, but I knew they were screening it, and I didn't know. It seemed like you had to buy tickets or something of that nature for it, so for the screening. But I don't know. They seem to have a good following, and like I watched all the 39 hours. It was like pretty entertaining. So this will probably be more of the same.
Yeah, Joe Cooper's on it. Joe Cooper and Dave Winter. Yeah. Those guys are the best.
Yeah, I don't know them personally, but like, I mean, Joe Cooper was a little bit inspiration for me to grow out the mustache. I saw him on yours, and I was like, oh, that guy looks like a legend. I gotta maybe try and bite a bit of his style.
Yeah, you should buy a 24-foot bay boat too to match, and a school bus.
Yeah, I don't think I'll go that hardcore. I think he's got that locked up.
Oh man, what a beauty! But yeah, I don't get Weeb's part. I like watching Weeb. Like him and I have been in plenty of like public arguments. Like it's, you know, we're not strangers to chirping each other. We kind of, you know, came up in the fishing world around the same time, just took different paths. And but man, he's as annoying as he can be. As much as we chirp each other, he's freaking entertaining. Yeah. So I am a little disappointed that his part isn't in there, but I'm sure it'll still be quality.
Yeah, he's got some like creative ideas. As much as like guys want to knock him, he does have some like real unique ideas of stuff to like capture audiences, and I'm sure he's brought quite a few people like into fishing, seeing his stuff that normally would have never seen it. So
Yeah, I agree. Man, that I was speaking of that, like the ice fishing show they have. I was looking at the events. They got like the main stage. So we're doing, I think it's me, Pizer, Siemens, and maybe Clayton Schick.
mm-hmm.
We're like the speakers for the seminar, but then they have like some other stuff too. There's a fish cleaning contest they do every year. I haven't seen that.
I've seen it before. I think one of the Winnipeg customers, Jordan Harden, he's like in the store all the time. Jordan Harder, and he's like, I was like so impressed. He was like dialed in, and they go head to head for a while. And like I don't know. I've seen guys like cleaning walleyes at your place, and I'm like, well, that's way faster than I do it. But some of these guys are like, next level. Like,
yeah, I was watching Staggs today. He's the champ. Hey,
okay,
Daniel Stagg.
Yeah,
I think he's won it like every year.
really.
Sounds like it. Well, like you said, Harder won.
Yeah, I think he won the 1 year. We were there 2 years ago.
I know Stagg won the last one, 2021. He had like a TikTok video. It was 30 seconds flat. Deboned both sides. Like, good job too.
That's like hauling.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, how can I sneak some competition in this weekend? So I signed up.
Oh, you signed up?
Yeah, I sent Labupa a message, and he's like, yeah, you're in, bud. I was like, okay.
Have you time trialed it in the garage?
No, I'm probably going to cut my thumb open or something, like going hard.
Yeah.
I'm too much of a competitor to be holding a knife.
Yeah.
So he's going to, beat my ass, but
yeah,
hopefully I can beat up on someone.
But you're just going to go in there cold, like... I feel like this guy might be like going through a training camp.
Oh, well, I don't have any walleyes.
That's the downside. I guess maybe you should have cleaned them all at the cast.
I pretty much did. I was getting chirped for using an electric knife, and then I had a mountain of walleyes, and like everyone was on fish
true.
number 2.
Bri picked up the electric knife for 11 seconds and then roasted the quality of it.
My knife?
Yeah, he was like, this thing's no good. He's like, I'll get you a good one.
I just cut 12 walleyes with it. Yeah, Van Beek, if you're listening, I need a new knife, bud. Like, mine's bogging down the power in the house. It's like from 96. The blades are just like a couple old still 170 chainsaw blades. Yeah. So, yeah, I'll get a new knife. You're probably not allowed to use electrics in that one, though.
No,
right?
I can't imagine.
If you are, I'm going to pull out the old turkey carver and like bring a generator in there to smoke the place out.
Rip through.
Oh, that sounds good. What else we got going on? But Bassmaster stuff. I love it.
What do you got Bassmaster wise?
I don't know. We might lose like all our followings. Probably like, ice fishing, surf and turf, grouse hunting. Oh, Bassmaster. I'm out.
Yeah.
But it's on the list. I got a little list here. I got some notes.
What's going on in Bassmaster? I haven't been following.
Well, yeah, I mentioned in the last podcast or one of the videos or whatever that I was kind of trying to get it together to fish all 9, and that's still, still in the works, still grinding at it. Have until next week to sign up. Danny McGarry, though, Coop's tournament partner from down east, he just put up a post today. He signed up. He got in, and I thought I missed like the entry, and I sent him a message. I was like, "What the hell?" He's like, "No, man, it's because I qualified for like the national championship. They got like early entry or whatever." So
gotcha.
So there is going to be another Canadian in the race.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And you're like,
he's a beauty too.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, you came up here and fished then with Bri in the fall, or no?
Not Danny. No.
Just Coop and his brother.
Yeah, he's a working man, so it's 9's freaking crazy. Man, they're spread out too. Like you got to go down. Like I got to come back for every one. There's none that can stay until the fall. So yeah, I mean that's gonna be bananas if it happens. Have a week today to decide still, and still like.
What are you leaning towards?
Dude, I want to go. Like, I had the talk with Ashley. Like, that's kind of like a couple day conversation.
Yeah, I had no doubt.
I truly don't believe I'm going to have this opportunity again next year. got a little bit of love from like some sponsors just because of last year, you know, people like following a different trail to follow Canadians from up here, and still working on it. There's a few people have really been stepping it up, so cool to see like how many people are willing to support, and like people I didn't even realize were following along. So man, definitely pushed me a lot closer, and I want to frickin' go.
Yeah. And people, like, it seems like people just get like crazy behind the Canadians, like even the people like regionally here, but like when Jeff's doing well in a tournament, like it's kind of like all of like Canada's behind him, so it'd be cool to see you down there doing it.
Yeah, it'd be fun, and it's not just Canada, it's like the north.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
Minnesota
for sure.
Yeah, like at Sturgeon Bay, there's lots of people from around there that fish, and like Minnesota, there's tons of people bass fishing now, and like they're following it, like they, coming up to me and I'm like, holy shit, like there's cool. There's pull. It's like the whole north just kind of bands together. So yeah, I don't know.
And I was saying to you in the shop the other day, it's cool to see like you go down there and do well. And when you're fishing whatever tournament is up here, like the top 2% of guys up here are like seemingly as good as like anyone anywhere, Like if you're going down there beating field or getting, top 3 in fields of 200 boats of these guys that get to fish year round, it's like pretty sweet that like when you're in a tournament against like a Jeff O'Brien, like a Troy Norman, guys like that are as good as anyone in the world.
Yeah, no, like you could, it seems like I don't want to overstep, but it seems like you could just bring like a busload of the top 15 down there and like you're going to be fine.
Yeah, that they would do pretty well.
Yeah, but that's unless you're at, like I mentioned this too, unless you're at like a Lake Norman where you got to skip a bunch of docks, like the Canadians will just be backlashed and like like that offshore prowess does not extend to like
shallow dock.
The biggest tournament I ever won was KBI, and it was fishing shallow largemouth, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm a shallow guy. We're shallow guys. And you would just get mocked. Like if you had to go skip docks against those guys, it's crazy how good they are at casting. But
yeah, I remember Ted saying like a lot of the Canadian stuff seems to translate well to the U.S. like waters, but everything U.S. that he tries to bring back up here doesn't work super well. So that's kind of like advantageous, at least, to be like, maybe that's not the case for everything, but
no, that's fair. Like you come up here with a DT20,
yeah,
like that's the shit down there.
Yeah,
you come up here, you're just gonna catch a bunch of walleye.
Yeah, or like those giant like swim baits, or like all the like niche no-go up here.
Yeah, California swim baits. Okay, Carolina rig.
Yeah,
all that means is you're gonna lose all your tungsten and just be retying all day. Like the bottom composition's so much different here than there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. It's good. I like it. Hopefully it keeps rolling in that direction. But yeah, got another week to make that call. Man, no one's gonna want to hear about the Bass Pro Tour format change. Every podcast is talking about this, so we got to talk about it. They changed the MLF changed from every bass counts to 5 bass now.
I think that makes sense though. Like no one.
Yeah.
I mean, like, yeah. Just like no one really cares. Like you said in one of the podcasts, but you're like, guys will get like 2-pounded to death and think that they're like gonna be like really good. Like I did it when I was like 16, 17. So I was like catching a bunch of 2-pounders, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna go in the KBI and be like, thought I was good because I could go catch 100 bass, and then got a like 116th place finish.
Yeah, that happens.
Yeah. But it's like,
but you'd be a stud on MLF.
Oh yeah, in the MLF, yeah. I had like 330 pounds, but
yeah, I don't know.
2-pounders.
Like they could go to weighing in 2 marlin. Like I probably wouldn't pay attention.
Yeah,
and it's not the format. It's not the organization. For me, and like I'm a hardcore tournament angler. I should be watching this.
Yeah.
But me and like probably 98% of other people watch like Bass Live for like I want to see some damn personality.
Yeah.
Like that makes a big difference.
Oh yeah.
There's a huge contrast in anglers from Bassmaster, not just anglers, commentators, tournament directors, weightmasters. They're like, I don't want to say it, like, but it's kind of robot-y on the other side.
Yeah.
Where Bass is just like cool.
Yeah. And you're like, can relate to the guys at least. You're like, oh, this is some guy I would like actually hang out with, you know what I mean? Versus like it seeming like.
Yeah, someone wearing a visor with gelled hair and Adidas track pants.
Yeah.
With a jersey tucked into him. Dude, that like it's still happening. I you know, inadvertently watched some of it the other day and was like, what the hell? Like, no wonder no one's into this stuff. Because when the Bass schedule came out, I was like, oh, I wonder if there's any better schedules, like on the Toyota series, which there are.
Yeah.
But it's like, well, what's the end game if you fish the Toyotas or you know, maybe even could get an invitation to the MLF Invitational Tour, which is the qualifying tour, and then you just end up there.
Yeah.
I don't want to go there.
No. And then it's just like you see those guys with the gelled hair or whatever, and you're like, I've never seen like really anyone like that at any tournament up here. It's just like not relatable. Like,
Yeah, and if you do, you know where to start looking in the stats to find them.
yeah, no doubt.
She's on the bottom of the deck.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, shit, man, we've been talking for a while, and I haven't even really introduced you.
No.
Dom is from Lake of the Woods Sports Headquarters. You're the manager of the Winnipeg store.
Yeah.
Solid title. So Brian owns Lake of the Woods Sports, and Dom's the right-hand man, and you know both of them are like the super grinders of the fishing industry in central Canada, from what I could tell. There's a reason you can always get what you're after there. These guys are like the wolves of Wall Street of fishing and hunting gear. So Dom was passing through, and he said he'd wheel in for a bullshit.
Probably underqualified guest to be on here, but I don't know. Yeah, it's been cool running Winnipeg with Bry. Obviously, he runs a pretty unique business, which I like. I mean, like I knew who you guys were like growing up the like entire time, so it's a little bit surreal to be like, you know, working for Bry. Like I used to, when I was like 16 to 20, I was like the biggest like bass fishing nut like ever, just like, and I thought you guys were like, I was like, these guys are like the biggest studs ever. Like
we are.
Yeah. But I watched you and Bry win like KVI like in the stands, and I was like, oh, these guys are like legends. Like, and then it's just like surreal to be like I remember one Jets game, I saw like you and Brian there, and like you were a couple sections over, and I was like, oh, I gotta like go say hi to these guys. They don't really know me, but I was like, I was like, yeah, you guys like, and you guys had like beer snakes like this tall, like 10 beers lined up, and I was like, oh, you guys like won the KBI, and Brian's just like with little handled, and he was just like, you into fishing? And I was like, yeah. But it was pretty funny. But then like fast forward, life kind of just took me on like a weird path, and ended up like getting a job in Winnipeg and working my way up into management. So
yeah, and now you're muscling outdoor companies for more merchandise.
Yeah,
more stock.
Yeah, it's an interesting industry to work in too. I think that's like a big part of why me and Brian like do fairly well, is because like it seems like people are pretty relaxed. I mean, you start to see a bit of it, but like people there's not like, I mean, at your other job, I feel like there's more pressure to be like on the ball with deadlines and time and like reports and whatever. Fishing industry is just a lot of guys that are like pretty casual.
Do you think it's just because like buddies hiring buddies? And
yeah,
like...
for sure. There's a bit of that. And like a lot of people like probably look at it as more like a 9 to 5 and just like very casual. Like they just go home, and I don't know, but like me and Brian, it's kind of like a huge portion of what we do. Like,
yeah, it's your lifestyle. It's not just your job.
Yeah.
You go freaking hard too. So does Brian. Like it's wild.
But it's cool. Like I remember like getting like the tackle warehouse packages as a kid and like feeling like so excited for it. So to be on the other end of that, like, I mean, I'll package orders on weekends and stuff and be like, you know, trying to place it in there and like put a sticker in, because I knew when I got like a tackle warehouse sticker, I was just like fired up, or like the t-shirt, or just like the excitement for like just, I used to just like go on their website and like build the card I'd buy if I won the lottery, like all the time.
Yeah. So you translated that into the badass sportsheadquarters.ca website.
And then Bri always had the stuff that like no one else could find. Like you'd go into these, because they're not like bought locally. Yeah. So you'd go into these other tackle stores and be like, none of this stuff like really makes any sense. Like the hook sizes, like everything else, it's just like bought, not regionally specific or whatever, or just like not the niche stuff. Like I remember walking in the Kenora store and seeing like Kitex for the first time and be like, oh, these guys like are on the ball.
Mega bass too.
Yeah.
Like, dude, every time I go to like Toronto, I'm always with someone who's like, let's go to Bass Pro or Cabela's, and I'm like, ugh. Like, it used to be exciting, but you get so spoiled from sports headquarters. This isn't a damn sports headquarters commercial. We're gonna hit some other topics here right away, but man, they just feel like going to Walmart now.
Yeah.
Like, oh great, you got
just the generics.
You got 100 packs of Stickos and whatever. Like, it's just not. Yeah, I don't know. You guys did a good job.
Yeah.
Pretty pumped about it.
Yeah.
Pretty pumped to be a part of it too. Like the media side too.
Yeah.
Is badass. It's not like, you know, you can tell that cool guys are running it, because you don't have to be like, you don't have to be in track pants wearing a visor to
like,
rep.
When I started at Lake of the Woods, I did an HR course for a while, and I was like, oh, can I imagine like that feeling when you just like get in your car at the end of the day and like unbutton the tie and be like, oh, now I can stop playing this character.
Yeah.
But like the sweet thing is it's just like, you know, guys being guys, you get to be who you genuinely are all the time at your day job. And like the crews in both stores are like beauties. It's just like guys you would hang out with, so it makes it easy to put in a ton of hours.
Major funny shit happening too. Like I walked in the spring doing some BT stuff, and walked into a weigh-in. They got a 18-year-old kid, Kyle, versus you know, a 50-some-year-old, like what was his name, Jerry?
Oh, that's bad if I don't.
Tim. Yeah. Okay, so they're having a weight loss contest, and they're weighing in on a Saturday morning, like just knifing each other, chirping. Everyone's monitoring each other's lunch, and I was like, oh yeah, this looks like a fun place to work if I was 22.
Like, oh yeah, like I think back if I was like their age, like what a dream it would be to work there. Like just surrounded by all the best bass tackle. Like Bri takes care of all the guys too, so they get like swagged up whenever like Sims will send like a sample. Like I would have worked double what I work now.
Yeah.
Just like, and it's like just all buddies chirping each other. So it's funny, nonstop bets and whatever else.
Yeah, big buck contest, 4-pounder bets. We called Devin on one of the 4-pounder, or on the Zerani Lake 15-pound bet on the podcast I did with Brian. But not so swift segue. www.btfishing.com. We have new color smeltinators, Big Windy, Ralph Smoke on the website.
Yeah, they're looking good.
btfishing.com. Use promo code Get the Net, or get them in store. Lake of the Woods Sports Headquarters, Winnipeg, Kenora, and online. Seriously though, new colors, they're badass. We put a bunch of extra care into the smeltinator line. It's pretty clear that bait's not going anywhere, so it's showing up in tackle stores all over North America. And a couple sassy new colors and some more to come. That Big Windy color is like a walleye targeted color, and it's a freaking weapon. It's like a culmination of the best walleye colors there are.
Yeah, it'll be sweet. Hopefully we can get you down to Lake Winnipeg, do some videos, some ice fishing videos.
Yeah.
Just unleash that thing.
The last time I was on Lake Winnipeg, I watched a boat get swallowed whole.
Really?
Yeah, it was the Pine Falls, like Voyageurs. I had to go there for like there used to be this Lund Angler of the Year thing. Mm-hmm. and it was a combination of bass and walleye tournaments, and I was leading like after 3 tournaments on the bass side, and the last tournament of the year was Pine Falls, and if you win you get like 10 grand or whatever. So I was like, well, I guess we're going to Pine, and if I lost I got 3 grand or 5 grand, so it was like you're going to Pine Falls.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
whatever, went there, and there was a huge south wind one day, and it was Rick Loeb and his partner, I don't remember who, but they were trolling crankbaits, and the wind was freaking rocking, and they must have had taken on some water already, because they looked a little low when they like cut past us, but they were going like side trough in the waves, and one, like, we just looked back up, and there was 2 guys standing on the deck of the boat. All that was sticking out was the like the double bubble of the windshield, or I think it was a double bubble, and then a boat ran over and they hopped in. They had like 1 graph, I think, hopped in the other boat, and the boat just flipped upside down, and that was it.
Jeez.
20 pounds of walleyes in the live well.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I was like, well, that was fun. I didn't win.
No,
I got second in that overall thing. Definitely not second in the tournament. Did far worse than that. But yeah, what I'm saying is I would go back to Lake Winnipeg in the winter would be good.
You guys have ice fished it before, though, have you not?
I haven't, no.
Has Bry? Because I remember seeing some like green-backed hooked magazine.
Yeah, he went there. He went there way back in the day. He was like, all these guys are using rattle baits. I just used a rattle spoon and caught the hell out of them.
Yeah.
What else we got on the docket, bud?
I don't know, not too much. Ended off on Lake Winnipeg. Big Mike's actually been cracking the walleyes. Like he's caught a couple of 29s, 30. So I guess the river he's been going to has at least been like fishing good, which is pretty cool.
Big Mike's the man too.
Yeah, he's like what I am to Brian. Big Mike is to me. Like the kid's in university working like 35 hours a week, like full time, and just like loves it.
Grinders. I love it. These guys listen to like business podcasts on 1.5 times speed.
Yeah.
So they can drive more information in. Like just having Dom here for an hour, like probably set him back in his learning.
Yeah. So true. I was just in Soon Arrows and jetted back in, and I had this like Jocko Willink dichotomy of leadership. I was only running her at 1.3 because I couldn't really. You got to run her at 1.6 for a bit and then slow it down so you get used to it. But yeah, taking 30% more podcast.
That's cramming. Like I feel like I'm doing something when I listen to a podcast, like over media, because it's like, you know, you're going to gain some value at some point. Lots of them are just comedy. Like I like the comedy ones a lot too. I don't know what kind of value someone's going to get from this one. Probably you're not going to learn anything about fishing in this episode.
Yeah, I wouldn't be the right guy to teach it. You would, but.
But, yeah, I don't know. Podcasts are good.
Yeah.
You cram them.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Like, you're trying to take something away. I'm not like a huge fiction guy where you're just like, how does this like translate to my everyday life? And like, I don't know, trying to grow a tackle store in this economy is like not exactly like the easiest thing to do. So we kind of like are pretty heavy focused on like, how can we make it better? Me and Bri both.
Yeah. I mean, so many people bought so much stuff the last 2 years that it's
crazy.
Like,
yeah, I don't know. It's kind of crazy. Like there was just like a couple years of like heavy spending, and then with like, I mean, it was weird time. We've never really had normal time since I've been working at Lake of the Woods, like the whole COVID 2 years.
right.
And then like whatever else is going on right now with, you know, I don't know if this is the right podcast to be talking world issues.
We're not talking world issues on here, bud.
Whatever's going on now, it's like slowing down in terms of stuff. So that I think it's like important from our perspective to be like, how can we provide the most value to like the customer? I mean, Bri, are you usually thinking about that? Like what we did with kind of the points thing and everything, giving people like a little back of their purchase.
Yeah.
And like when we ship stuff, just like throwing in a couple extra stickers or stuff like that. It's just like, you know, people don't have like a ton of disposable money, so you want to try and provide as much value to them as you can.
Yeah.
And just like at least be able to provide people with like a good in-store interaction too. Like all our guys fished. So It's just
it's
like
a cool place to go hang out.
Or if you have like a problem and you buy it at like a big box, like I don't know. I've delivered so many things to customers' houses, and I know Brian, like driving down to every tournament, is bringing pile of jigs for all his people. So it's just like more personal. But
yeah. I mean, the knowledge base there is so much higher too than
yeah,
like
for sure.
yeah. Go buy your graph at Walmart and see what kind of love you get. But that's cool, bud.
It's kind of like the pod too, though, in a sense. Like you're giving away as much as you can on here, trying to like, I don't know, just do it for other people, like give back to the industry, which is kind of nice to see. Like,
yeah, shed a little bit of light on a few things. One of my favorite parts about it is like you keep saying I'm not qualified to be here. Well, like, yeah, you are. Like guys like you are part of the reason that I started it, because it's like, yeah, there's going to be some big dogs on here that everyone knows, and then there's going to be like I talked to Colin Barton the other day. Not everyone's going to know who he is, and he's a beauty. Like that doesn't matter. If people don't know who you are, it doesn't mean you're not going to be a good guest.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nice to be able to shine a little light in the industry, because there's a lot of cool stuff that happens. There's a lot of cool people.
Yeah, especially in this like part of the world, like there's some like unique characters that are just like pretty cool. Like Joe Cooper on here, whoever else was just like, I don't know. It might not become the biggest podcast in the world, but there's like, at least for the like thousands of listeners that are like dedicated to it, it's like I loved it. Like whatever, just growing up like following it, and then you get to see all these like cool guys that are like from this unique little area that has a little bit of everything. Yeah,
I love it, man, and it's proven to be able to make some beauties, and as people that actually know what's going on in the outdoor world.
Yeah, for sure.
Both on the industry side and in the actual field and on the lake.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good way to wrap her. We'll see you guys at the Winnipeg Ice Fishing Show this weekend. Lake of the Woods Sports has a booth. Well, everyone that's got their hand in ice fishing has a booth.
Yeah.
If they don't, they're probably not going to be doing real great this year.
Yeah. No doubt.
So yeah, like I said, a couple seminars going on. Siemens, Pizer, Clayton Schick, and myself. I think I'm just in there because Gussie's out of town this year in Australia, so I got the shout out. I don't know if that's going to be a full-time thing, but I am looking forward to going and hanging out with everyone this weekend. So if you're in the area, come on down. Lots of cool stuff to catch up on. Looks like there's plenty to do for kids, you know. Get you some swag, watch me cut my thumb off in the fish cleaning contest. And
I think one thing that'll be good too is people always complain that we don't have the tent set up in the store because like we're maxed out on space there. But I think all the vendors will have their tents set up. So if you were like wondering about a tent, you can come down and check one out and see it all set up and it's the right amount of space or whatever for you. So that'll be cool too. Yeah.
Make them work a little bit. Ask some questions.
Yeah.
I'll be shopping around a little bit.
Nice.
All right. Well, do all the liking and subscribing and stuff. Love the momentum of the podcast. The last couple episodes have been, far and away at the top of the charts for Canada. Some of the numbers are like rivaling big fishing podcasts.
Yeah.
They're kissing it.
Well, that's awesome.
There's only so many people that listen to fishing podcasts, so you kind of, you're going to hit your ceiling pretty quick.
Yeah.
But thanks again, everyone. Keep doing what you're doing. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. Get into, do a little reviewing on the Apple, Spotify side. Love the YouTube love too. There's some other stuff coming out there. There's going to be a surf and turf derby coming. And we got some ice fishing stuff coming way too fast. So thanks again, everyone. Thanks, Dom, for coming out.
No problem.
Safe travels tonight, bud.
Okay.
Okay. Cheers, everyone.